Okay. We got a stream. We're streaming. How do I sign in? Okay. Hey, Gabriel. Gabriel. Yeah, I want you to right there. That is perfect. All right. Hold on, y'all. All right, cool. Thank you. All right. So that's our chat. Got our chat going. Got our alerts going. Let's make this larger. Okay. Let's see what's going on. All right. Civil War in America. What's happening?
2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump,
Yep.
an attempt by one political faction to put him in prison, impeach him, and
Yeah.
the fact that in multiple jurisdictions, they have criminally charged Trump's lawyers, which
Yeah, that was a crazy one for me, is seeing them charge Trump's lawyers. Like, you don't understand. Like, when you go to court, you can't be thinking any minute now they're going to throw my lawyers in jail just to get at me. That's insane. That is crazy. And it happened to him. And, I'm glad it didn't happen to me, but if it can happen to him, I feel like it could happen to anybody. And they seriously went after his lawyers in like multiple cases, multiple different lawyers. And they're charging the lawyers. The thing that they're charging the lawyers with is helping their client.
is so far beyond what the Constitution allows.
Yep.
And they argue they're justified in doing so, but it's ludicrous.
Yeah. Well, when you're fighting Hitler, everything is justified. And so they do whatever the heck they want or whatever the heck they feel they need to in order to get rid of Orange Hitler.
No one on the right has exercised power to that degree in any way.
Nope.
Trump's not invoked the Insurrection Act in his first term to stop the riots.
I wish
Trump
he would
didn't
have.
order federal authorities to go round up these far left extremists. Trump
Would have been
didn't
great.
order U.S. attorneys during his first term to start arresting lawyers and journalists or anything like this.
That
When
would have
Trump
been a
gets out of
stretch.
office, they continue to pursue him.
Which is not to say that I don't think that there are any lawyers or journalists who were on the left who were breaking the law. Yeah, I do. I do think that there were several. That Perkins Coie thing, yeah. You're not going to tell me that those guys, yeah.
Accuse him of insurrection, lie about what happened on January 6th, and then started criminally charging his lawyers, notably Jenna Ellis, I'm not a big fan of. She cried on camera saying, "I'm so sorry for working with Donald Trump."
I couldn't stand that. Watching that. And she goes on the news and she's like crying. I didn't know what I was doing. Bull crap. You stand up there and you say, I did my job. I don't know what this is about. This is stupid. You should just call it out.
She's just a lawyer. What was she accused of? She drafted letters for the president, which is a legally, constitutionally protected service. You can't criminally charge lawyers. Everyone's entitled to have a lawyer. They did in Georgia. And they tried to put her in prison for decades under RICO charges. claiming that because she represented Trump, she was involved in a criminal conspiracy. So when you get to that level of we will burn you to the ground if you like, we're going to take your lawyers away from you. We're going to put your legal team, your supporters, Giuliani, Manafort. I mean, this has been going on for nearly a decade. So the period before the American Civil War is called Bleeding Kansas. 7 years of bloody conflict in the territory of Kansas as people fought over whether it would be a slave state or a free state. There was administrative conflict in the non-warring territories. It wasn't a civil war.
All right. I am going to move on from that because this is my first live stream. I want to test out a few things, see how things look, and how they sound together and all of that stuff. So we're gonna move on from this, but you should definitely check that whole thing out. It's on Trigonometry. Trigonometry right there, and it was only 2 days ago, and they did like 2 hours. Check out the chapters here. Ooh, is the left a cult? I can answer that question. The answer is yes. Yes, they are a cult. Oh, here we go. Most mentally ill people are liberal. Let's just watch a few minutes of this before we move on. We got to check this out. Because this is so true. It's so true. Like, I have family members, right, who have always been on the left, always been Democrats, and they're not crazy. So nowadays, they just don't talk politics at all. They don't want to, don't talk to me about it. I don't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So leave me out of it.
And I think one of the things that you touched on, the things that I always find is the number of mentally ill people you have in this. And that, when you have mentally ill people plus easy access to guns, that can create a situation where a presidential assassination attempt can happen, or even, God forbid, an actual assassination. And that's a sort of mark of civil war, or any type of.
What's the political persuasion of the mentally ill? It's a fact. It's documented.
I don't know.
Liberals.
Not just liberals.
It's a
Look it up.
fact. It's
Well,
documented.
no, hold on.
no.
What you're saying is...
Hold on, wait a
if you
minute,
look at
wait,
the
wait.
mentally ill population,
Yeah.
they skew left.
They skew like 60-70% left.
Oh!
The argument from the left is that people on the right don't seek therapy, so they don't get prescribed. Perhaps. But overwhelmingly, it
Maybe.
is liberal females, followed by liberal males. Liberals have extremely high rates of mental illness relative to conservatives. Let's be real. Someone who's going to throw a firebomb at a Tesla and write "Long live Ukraine," they don't know what they're fighting for. They're mentally ill.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I guess what all we're saying is it's not like mentally ill right-wing people with guns have never done it.
how many right-wing terror attacks have there been in the United States in the past 10 years?
Look, we have the same argument in the UK,
Like,
which is like we're told
maybe
to worry
one?
about the far right when a lot of it is Islamist. The statement you made is a little bit overgeneralizing.
Well, I'm not trying to speak in absolutes. I'm speaking in generalities.
Yeah.
If you and my point is this: why is it that right now what we see is people who are
You're
mentally ill
generalizing.
have like a 2-to-1 rate
Yeah.
of leaning towards liberal?
Yeah, I
ideology?
am.
Well, because the ideology itself is fractured, and the people like me or like you have abandoned it, or maybe not abandoned, but are no longer a part of it. So it's not so much a function of if you are liberal, you are mentally ill. It's a function of the current iteration we are seeing in the United States.
Hey, listen, folks. I voted for Obama in 2008. It was the first time I ever voted, and I voted for the guy who said hope and change and da 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 da. And then we got bullcrap. We got race riots, and we got extrajudicial killings of teenagers overseas. No court thing. No, and he should have had a better father. What? You can't just kill American citizens. No charge, no trial, no nothing. That's insane. All right. We are finally getting out of here. We're going to X that out. And we're going to go check out some Twitter. What's going on Twitter? Oh, what is this? Kamala Harris merchant Vera Wang was spotted at the Met Gala. Wang designed merchandise in support of Kamala Harris campaign. That is Vera Wang? Yikes. I'm sorry, lady, but maybe don't wear things like that when you're that old. Oh, I like Duja. Let's see what you got going on here. Hey, check out your video. Damn. Let's see, one. Oh, it's only a 3-chord. Yeah. Duja, very cool. Let's see. Tucker Carlson talking about. This. Oh, yeah, right. That was that interview that he did on the thing. That was a very cool interview. Not what I'm looking for now. Jack Poso, you know we voted for that. Now Trump is announcing he is going to rebuild and expand Alcatraz to throw violent criminals in it. Is this what you people voted for? Yes. Yes, it was. Leftists when Trump does a new thing, and me who voted for all of it. Yes, 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 we did. We voted for all of this, and we want more, please. Ugh. So let's see what's going on in the news. America First is trending. Let's see what's top on America First. At Rep. Mary Miller is a badass. We're telling Illinois sheriffs to ignore Governor Pritzker's sanctuary policy. Really? That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Miller, for asking them to ignore the sanctuary policies. You know that crap is illegal, right? Because the federal government is supposed to have, control over immigration. We have a country. It's the United States of America. And the states are supposed to be united on their foreign policy, especially, and on their immigration. No good having states out there that have their own immigration policy. That's not cool. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just announced that he is now reviewing and ending the politicization of the IRS audits. No way.
We are getting towards a more equitable enforcement rate.
Let's check it out.
We are reviewing.
The plan, the implementation plan, to ensure moving forward, we are getting towards a more equitable enforcement rate.
Look, we are reviewing the processes for who
We're
is
getting
audited
towards
at
a
the IRS.
more
There's been a great deal of politicization of that.
Meaning
So
we're
are
still
trying to
targeting
stop that,
Republicans
and we are also going
and
to look
Christians.
at the distribution. Was audited
Does
and
anybody
why they
remember that that's what they were doing?
The plan, the implementation
That was
plan,
totally
to
the
ensure
thing.
moving forward, we are getting towards a more equitable enforcement rate.
Look, we are reviewing the processes for who is audited at the IRS. There's been a great deal of politicization of that. So we are trying to stop that. And we are also going to look at the distribution who is audited and why they are audited.
The plan, the implementation
Wow. So it's still
plan,
going
to ensure
on.
moving forward, we
It's
are
still
getting towards
going
a more
on. It was what was it, 2012, I think, when all of the IRS stuff came out. Just I don't understand how they could allow this to go on for so long. I mean, why haven't there been ever Republicans in the streets protesting and screaming and throwing things? Maybe, maybe that's something that they need to think about in the future, because I guarantee you that if the IRS started targeting Democrats, they would burn down the whole country. They would. Let's see. John David, America First. The entire U.S. Constitution was written for Americans only. It's not the world Constitution. It's the U.S. Constitution. Non-citizens and criminals do not possess rights under this document. Well, that's not entirely correct. Yeah, the Supreme Court's gone over that, and they found that certain classes of people who are not citizens do indeed have rights. And criminals, they have some rights, I guess. When you're a criminal, you've had your rights taken away from you through due process. So that's, the wording is a little funny there. Whatever happened to the live audit at Fort Knox? That is an excellent question. I would like to know that myself. No. I hope this is not in America. This is in America. Holy crap. That lady just got her kids to steal that woman's purse. That is insane.
There been a ceasefire in the spring of 2022, probably 1 million people would still be alive and Ukraine wouldn't be destroyed and we'd still be in the same place. So, why didn't we do that? Given that you called that correctly, I think, where do you think we're going on Iran?
Oh, it's Ben from Ben and Jerry's.
Toward war.
Why do you think that is?
Well, there seems to be.
He's thinking really hard about this, but I can answer that question really simply, because that's where we go towards with every country. We go towards war. Like America, it started to become like this insane thing where like we get into a relationship with a country. We try and help them, repair some sort of political strife. And in order to do that, we give weapons and support to, the people who we're in favor of. And then a few years later, we come back and we say, oh, well, now we need to destroy you, and we put in somebody else. Every relationship with America seems to end in war lately, and that's why it feels like we're going to war with Iran.
Some kind of strange relationship between Israel and the U.S., where Israel now has the U.S. supplying weapons for its genocide, and what I'm told is that Israel wants some concept of greater Israel. I mean, I don't really know much about that.
It's not really that strange of a relationship. They're our ally in the Middle East, and people want to kill them, so we help supply them with weapons. Really simple. Uh-oh.
Edmark, another worthless, nothing rhino.
Uh-oh.
Now it's Tillis from Senator. President Trump had nominated great nomination U.S. Attorney Violet. Now, so far, Edmark capacity basically up 200. That's running. Serving in that since he's been here. Crime is down, homeless is down, all the things bad, needles off the floor, metro kept up, park coordinated, live in the district.
Well, those all sound like
Ed
good
Martin's
things.
done a phenomenal job, but here's a problem. He was also didn't want looking.
Oh, well, that'll get you thrown out right there.
The majority, all Republicans have to vote for. He had all 11 votes except 11:30. Fails. Then that goes. Grassley.
Okay. Well, there was a committee, and they needed that guy's vote, and he said no. So if you are in North Carolina, in Tom Tillis's district, you know what's up now. When you sell out the American presidency to the global elites, they give you a Courage Award. Oh no. Somebody gave Mike Pence an award?
I did my peaceful.
No. 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 There were definitely questions that needed to be answered, and the whole thing with the 2020 election was we're not answering questions. We're sweeping it under the rug, and you'll find out never. It wasn't that they answered all the questions and the answer was that Trump lost. It was, you don't get to ask any questions because this is the freest and fairest election of all time. That's what that was.
To our warfighters. Let's do reforms. This one is General and Flag Officer Reductions. That's the official title. My title is Less Generals, More GIs. It's a historic one, and it's in keeping with President Trump's commitment to achieving peace.
I like that title. Less generals, more GIs.
Through strength. We're going to shift resources from bloated headquarters elements to our warfighters. Let's take a bit of a trip down memory lane. In history, when we were fighting across the globe during World War II, we had a force that was 12 million strong.
Yeah.
For that 12 million man element, we had 17 4- and 5-star generals. Today, we have 2.1 million service members with 44 4-star and flag officers. So it used to be a ratio of 1 general to 6,000 troops. Today, it's 1 general to 1,400.
That seems like a lot of generals. Do we really need a general for every 1,400 people? I mean, I thought the general was like the guy at the top. You know? Stupid camera. Every time I put my hand up, it turns on the tracking, and I like to talk with my hands, so that is annoying. I might have to turn that off. Oh my God, what is going on here? The New York City Pride Parade shocker, chanting, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming." Ooh, we're coming for your children. Well, they can't have mine, but let's watch anyway. All right. Wow. This is a special individual right over here. There's so much color. Whoa. Yeah. Coming for... Damn. They just, like, whatever the most vile, disgusting shit that they can say, that's what they say. That's what they say. And like, we're here, we're queer. That's fine. Coming for your children. Who says that? Who says we're coming for your children? That sounds like some arch villain stuff right there. Oh, goodness.
Quote unquote jihadist terrorism, whether it's fought. A lot of conservatives in particular would say that the rise in Islamophobia is a result not of hate, but of fear, a legitimate fear, they say, of quote unquote jihadist terrorism, whether it's Fort Hood or San Bernardino or the recent truck attack in New York. What do you say to them?
I would say our country should be more fearful of white man across our country.
I clicked on the video because it said that she said that, but I didn't think she would actually say that. Why should we be afraid of white people? That makes no sense to me. What do they do that's so horrible, all of these white people?
Country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
No, that doesn't track. Not according to the FBI. I would like to know where she gets that idea from. I mean, she spit it out right there on television. Wow. You got some kids fighting in the streets.
Hey, over tweaking, gang.
All right. Moving on from that. Oh, leftist tears. Let's see.
Phone bill, my car insurance, my psychiatry, my chiropractic. Literally, all of that gets used every single fucking month. So, month to month, I usually have a couple, like $25 and sometimes when an unexpected bill comes, after. And now, under Biden, there was a cap on how much, and that's gone now. So now your banks can charge you how much they want to for overdraft fees.
That I'm not in favor of.
Did shit for you. Biden. Yeah, still waiting on no tax on tips. Waiting for cheaper groceries. Still waiting for all the fucking promises. I didn't vote for Harris, but I'm waiting on all of those fucking promises that Ori was gonna do for us.
I'm still waiting too.
He has only made my life more expensive and difficult and hard. And
Stop poking the camera.
I hate all of you motherfuckers who voted for him. And those of you that didn't vote. And those of you that just threw your vote away. Like Jill Stein.
A lot of people did that. I didn't do that. I voted for Trump. Well, you know, it's tough to get mad at her. It's tough because I also enjoyed the, well, I didn't enjoy it because I didn't have any overdraft, but I thought it was really cool that they had the overdraft protection thing. I was not happy to see them get rid of that. And then, let's see, hold on here. Fix this. Yeah, make it bigger. Like it big. Big, 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 big. All right. Yeah, so like I was saying, it's tough to get mad at her because, you know, I enjoyed the overdraft protection thing. I thought that was really cool that they did that. And I'm sorry if they got rid of it. That sucks because there was a time in my life when overdraft was a problem for me. And it would have been really cool to have some sort of protection because it wound up, like I had like 4 or 5 of these, you know, like $5 here, $3 here, $2 there. It was more than 4 or 5. It was like 10 because the bill got up to like $300 and they're like $30 a piece. Yeah, that sucked. That seriously sucked. And it was one of those things where like there was money coming in and I thought it was there, but it wasn't there yet. Yeah. Yeah, and then all that other stuff she's talking about, like the lower groceries and the no tax on tips. I am also waiting. I would love to see no tax on tips because tipping is a thing here on the internet, and I would like to get some tips. Tipping would be awesome. I would love to see, could somebody please tip? I would like to see a tip. I want to know how that works. Apparently, it's in the description, the link to tip. But I have no idea how that works. I'm sure there's probably some setup involved. Anyway, moving on. Go back. What else is in the news? Uh-oh. Trump is unfit for office? Wow. Up to a whopping 5,500 posts, half of which are MAGA. I'm just gonna let you guys read that. I'm not gonna read that out loud. Oh my God. Oh, what is this? What the hell? This is the Democrat Party. This is who they are. Right there. And yo, I mean, I've gone to drag shows. It's fun. It's fun to go to a drag show. It's fun to sit there and have the, not ladies come out on stage and sing their songs from Cher and, and all of that. And they're awesome. They're great performers. I don't know that they should be reading books to children. Oh, man. Oh, there it is. Burns. He's gone full Burns. Oh, no. What is this? Why would you do that to a chicken? Why would you do that to a chicken? Chickens are like the most noble creature. They are fantastic. They have so many uses. You can clear land with chickens. You can. Not like trees and stuff, but like if you got a bunch of brambles and bushes, they will tear everything up on a piece of land. And you can fertilize the land with chickens because they pee and they poop. Well, the poop fertilize. Pee is not. But yeah, chickens are awesome. They give you eggs. You can eat them. You run around your yard doing goofy little chicken things. Awesome. So cruel. Don't do that to chicken. It should not be portrayed that way. This one is actually kind of neat. I like this one. 31.78% voted for Trump, 30.84% voted for Harris, 1.06% voted third party, 36.32% did not vote. Like I'm not going to question the stats here. Like I'm going to assume that all of that is true. And then I'm going to go ahead and say, don't care. Don't care. Sorry. We had a vote. You had your options. You get what you get. Yeah, right next to co-parter. Yeah, I don't think that faces all of that. All right. Gonna move on again. Oh, Pelosi's trending. Wow. True? Joe Biden had 11 bills signed before the end of his first 100 days. The Republicans only sent 5 to Trump's desk. That is ridiculous. What is wrong with you Republicans? Oh my gosh, let's see this.
Because there wasn't that much time between then and the election, and it sort of saved time. So it wasn't that we didn't have an open process, it's just that nobody got in. Had the president gotten out sooner, there may have been other candidates in the race. The anticipation was that if the president were to step aside, that there would be an open primary. And as I say, Kamala I think she would have done well in that and been stronger going forward. But we don't know that. That didn't happen. We live with what happened. And because the president endorsed Kamala Harris immediately, that really made it almost impossible to have a primary at that.
You were never going to have a primary. You were never going to have one. You all knew. You knew what Joe Biden's state of affairs was. You lied to everybody. You tried to hide it badly. And you tried to push him through as if the American people weren't going to notice that his brain was half gone. No.
Time.
No, you don't get to go back.
Primary and she won it. Nobody else got.
You don't get to go back and rewrite history. We have the video evidence. All right. Let's move on from this.
$1 a year, and that's at the high. If I own stock in something and I do a good job and the stock market goes up, I guess I'm profiting. But who really profits is somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who uses inside information. She worked for $175,000 a year, and that's at the high end, and she's worth $150, $200 million. Okay? You ought to look at Nancy Pelosi, and you ought to look at some of these politicians that are stone cold crooks. I was very wealthy when I came in. Being president, I probably cost me money if you really look. If I own stock
it cost him money.
And I do a good job, and the stock market goes up.
Cost him a few $1 billion.
I guess.
Trump's worth a lot less now than he was when he first took office. You know, for everybody who says that Trump is, double dealing and he's trying to pull a fast one on the American people, he's trying to cheat us and all that, the man has lost billions. And then you got folks like Nancy Pelosi who have done nothing but be in office for, the last 40 years, and they're millionaires. Multi-million, hundreds of millions of dollars goes to these people. And yet we're supposed to believe that the guy who's lost his shirt, well, not literally, he lost a lot of money though. A lot of money. But we're supposed to believe that guy who's lost all this money, he's the one trying to pull one over on us. No. Listen, this here, Nancy Pelosi's net worth was estimated at around $31 million in 2008 when she first served as Speaker of the House. How did she get to the $31 million? Like, everybody's like, oh, and now she's over $240 million. Yes, because she did the same thing that got her to the 30 million, only she did it times 1,000. Whatever bullshit she was pulling to get her to that number, she did it way harder and got to that other number. This is an excellent point. DC Drano, thank you very much. Isn't it crazy how Pelosi wanted the IRS to audit every gig worker making $600 on Venmo, but our United States Treasury was sending billions of dollars with no tracking at all?
Across the entire government.
Let's back this up.
Can
Watch
you
this whole
define for the
video
committee
here.
today what an improper payment is of what you're seeing and why these procedures are not already in place?
Well, it's a define why they, and what we are seeing is that there was a very complacent upper level of management department across the entire government. What I can say that of the 1.5 billion out every year, they're required to have something called a TAS, a Treasury accounts. We discovered more than one third those payments not have a TAS number. As the Appropriations Committee,
Okay.
you should be.
Yeah. Here's my question. If they're required to have this TAS number, how were the payments made without it? It's not a real requirement if you can click next without the box being filled. Like we have the technology. We have the technology. You know, all those websites that you go to where you fill out the form and it got the little red star there and it says, if you don't fill in this box, you can't go forward. Why wasn't there the little red star? Because they wanted to steal things. That's the only reason why you have that ability, is because you want to steal things. All right, I got people knocking on my